Hi guys, I thought I'd take advantage of the recent release of Firmware 202 for a number of different Kingsong wheels to make a short tutorial on how to upgrade your firmware using EUC World. In this case I'm going to be upgrading my 16X. You can see here in the live data screen, the second one, if you swipe to the right, I'm on firmware version 107. So first of all, to upgrade, I'm going to want to connect my wheel. Once it's connected, we will go to the menu and to wheel settings. And if we scroll down to the bottom, here in the firmware section, we're going to find firmware update, where you can see that the app has found firmware 202, which is available for upgrade. And as you can see, it also offers the possibility of downgrading to 105. This, in my opinion, is a really important and cool feature to have because it allows you to try out a new firmware, see if it works for you, see if it's buggy, see if you like the way it rides. And if you don't like it, you can downgrade to the version you were using before, which makes firmware upgrades much less committing. So it's not like you have to stick to whatever firmware version you installed. It just takes 5 minutes to upgrade, 5 minutes to downgrade again. So you can just play around with them, see what you like, see what works best for you, rinse and repeat. Over the past week, I have probably upgraded and downgraded the firmware on both my 16X and my 18XL at least 10 times, and it's been completely flawless every single time. No hiccups, no errors whatsoever. The process is exactly the same whether you're upgrading your firmware or you're downgrading. So in this case I'm going to update, so I'm going to tap here on firmware update. Here I get the release notes informing me what the changes are. So it's as easy as clicking on update. So now the process has begun and it's just a matter of waiting. You can hide this window or you can leave it open. Just important, stay in range of the wheel. Don't walk away with your phone while this is upgrading. On the wheel itself, the progress is indicated by the LED lights. You'll notice that they light up in order from top to bottom and front to rear, kind of as a progress bar in a counterclockwise direction. So 96%, 97, we're almost done here. As you can see, we get a message saying that once the firmware update is complete, the wheel will shut off, which it has. In case it doesn't, all you have to do is shut it off manually. So once the process has completed, we're going to switch the wheel back on and make sure it's connected. And from here we can go to the second screen, live data, and we will see that our current firmware version is 202, so it has successfully updated. And if we go to settings, wheel settings, we see that the firmware is up to date and it offers us the possibility to downgrade to 107. So now that we've finished upgrading the firmware, it's time to calibrate the wheel. This is an important thing to do after any firmware upgrade. I imagine most of you already know this and know how to do it, but since it's an essential part of any upgrade process, I think it's worth including in the tutorial. So to do it, we'll go to Calibration right here above Firmware. So here it's basically just a matter of following the on-screen instructions. So with wheel calibration, the important thing is for the wheel to be completely level, both horizontally and vertically. To get it level, in my case I used a stand, but you can place it on a couple of bricks, you can lean it against the wall and use a bubble level, whatever works for you. So once we hit start, the wheel will switch off. And this point's where you want to place it completely level. In my case, I'm using a stand. So once it's entirely level, hold it, make sure it doesn't move if you aren't using a stand. Then we switch it on. The wheel will beep a few times. And And once it finishes beeping, the wheel will switch itself off and you're done with the calibration. So a couple quick notes. Whenever you change firmware version, the wheel might behave a bit differently from what you're used to. Whether you're downgrading or you're upgrading, acceleration might be affected, braking, pedal dip when you're turning. So it's worth approaching with caution, being vigilant for the first few miles or kilometers, paying attention to differences, nuances, how the wheel reacts, and get a feel for it before you fully let go and ride like you usually would. And another quick note on downgrades and upgrades in EUC World is that they have to be incremental. So you can't go straight from firmware 105 to 202, for instance. You're going to have to upgrade from 105 to 107, and then from 107 to 202. And the same thing applies to downgrade. So if you want to go back from 202 to 105, you're going to have to go back to 107 first and then to 105. Okay, I'd say that's about it. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You can also go to the EUC World thread in the Electric Unicycle forum. I'll leave a link down in the description, and hopefully I can find the time to make more tutorials like this in the future.